Hi, my name is Laurie Burke. Thank you so much for stopping by and your interest in voiceover. Today, we are going to be going over Microphones 101. What I did is this is taken from a YouTube live that I did for Backstage Magazine. If you don't know about Backstage Magazine, check them out. They're wonderful. They post casting for voiceover artists, actors, singers, pretty much all creatives, and I do quite a few videos for them on voiceover. So today the subject is microphones. So whether you've just started out or whether you've been working in voiceover for a long time, hopefully you'll get some really good information from this, I hope. At the end of this video, and you'll see me answering questions throughout, there's even more questions that came from viewers, and hopefully some of those answers will help you. Maybe there's some of the same questions that you might have while I'm explaining a little bit about microphones. Additionally, please subscribe, please leave comments, leave questions. I would love to know what it is that you want me to cover on this channel. I'm going to be making more and more videos to address questions because I seem to get a lot of them, and one question always leads to another and another, and I really want to know what you think. I would love to know how I can help and how I can inspire you. So I hope you enjoy it, and again, I hope to hear from you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep talking. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Laurie Burke for Backstage, and thank you for being here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Going to see if everything works. Hello, Sherry. Thank you. Hello, Laurie. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for coming in and having comments and things like that. I'm going to take some questions at the end. So hopefully this will be a really informational sort of time together. Now, what we're going to go over today is microphones, okay? Microphones 101. So whether you are just starting out or you've been doing this for a while, this is for you. So a little bit about me, so you know why maybe you might want to listen to me or you may not want to listen to me, is I worked in voiceover and on-camera acting and casting, actually. I've been doing voiceover and acting for 15 plus years, also coaching commercials, industrials, narration, animation, films, singing, jingles. My degrees in broadcast communications, radio and television. So and 8 years on camera hosting also. So I love the voice and every way that we can communicate with each other, especially telling a story with just your voice, is fascinating to me. So that is what brought me here. If you want to know more about that, I'm not going to use up all our time on me, is you could go to my website, laurieburke.com, or go to my YouTube channel, and it will tell you whatever you're interested in. So, but anyway, so we're going to start right now. I'm going to make sure everything is hi from Anaheim. Hi. I'm in Los Angeles, by the way. It's hot here. So just so you know, if I start sweating profusely, that's why. And I'm in, this booth, which I'm very used to doing. And somebody asked me this. I just want to say this really quickly. Last time, what do you do when you're really hot in the booth? Like, how about a fan? No fan. You can't do any of that because the microphone is going to pick up on that noise. So you really just either have to step outside or take a break, which I advise anyway for hours that you're in the studio, which we typically are. Just something to think about when you set that up. Hello from New Jersey. Marilyn, hi. How should I get started for voice acting? Okay, George, listen, you can go to, I don't know if I have it on my YouTube. I might have it on my YouTube. But definitely it's on Backstage. I did another one of these on just the fundamentals of getting into it. But I'm also going to have some more stuff on my channel lately. So hi, Michael. Yes, I did make this booth in my house. So anyway, I said I'd take the questions at the end, and here I am getting off track. Okay, which happens with me. So the first thing I want to emphasize is the first thing you need is training. If you don't just say, oh, I heard I had a good voice, I'm going to go out and buy this great expensive microphone that I did all this research on. Laurie said this is the type that I should get, and I'm going to be great, and I'm going to go into this career. That's not how it works, okay? How it works is, it's like are there any photographers out there? I'm a photographer. I assume there's some that are coming. Hi from San Francisco, by the way. That's my hometown. Yes, okay, so photographers know this, or people that take good pictures. You can take an amazing picture with a nothing camera, a disposable camera, right? Nothing. You could also have a really expensive camera and take a horrible picture, right? It's really the training in it. And as you have your love grow into kind of knowing what your strengths are, that's where you invest in this, higher equipment and more expensive things like that. Does that make sense? It does you no good whatsoever to go out and buy this really expensive microphone before you know what you're doing. It is, as a matter of fact, it will hurt you because it'll probably pick up a lot more things that you're not aware of and you haven't trained your voice for yet to deal with. So I want to get that out of the way. The second most important thing would be your space, just so you know. So microphones are actually third on that. Okay, not to, say that this isn't very useful, because it is, but as far as the timeline that you should be investing in, that is, you want your education first. I'd say that's about 70% there, So anyway, so that's that. So we're going to go over first a couple of the different microphones out there, because I know that, especially if you're just starting out, or even if you've been doing this a while, it gets confusing, these different vernaculars, different words for mics, right? So I thought, you know what, I'll show you some. Now, I've been doing this for quite a while. I just have a bunch of mics, right? Which is what I advise, actually. Build up your mic collection. And I'll tell you one really useful thing about that statement is that sometimes mics go bad. Sometimes you have a problem with either a mic cable or it's a microphone, you're not quite sure, but you have something due. And this is if you're a voiceover artist and you're working a lot. You need another mic, you need a backup mic, okay? I have more stories like that to kind of show you why these different mics in different situations might work for you, okay? So the first one I'm gonna go over, if there's any singers out there, which there should be, probably quite a few, I'm gonna guess, because it's backstage, and Backstage Rocks, they have so many different outlets of creativity. This is a directional mic. This is a Shure SM58. This is the workhorse of every singer I know, right? These dynamic mics, dynamic is what I meant to say. These dynamic mics, basically this front address straight on, doesn't really pick a lot of the nuances in the back or anything like that. You're straight on. This is, you eat the mic, they call it usually, which is, you get really, really close to the mic. You get intimate to the mic, right? Sometimes a lot of singers you'll see will have lipstick on it even, right? You don't want to do that in your voiceover career, by the way. Don't do that. Better not to wear any lipstick, actually, if you're going to be speaking in there. Anyway, whole other topic. So this is a dynamic mic, right? Again, SM58, Shure, I would always keep this. Here's a little story of why this is also a good mic. It's not what you want when you're building your studio, your voiceover studio. This is not for professional voiceover. That being said, when I first started out, I had already trained, okay? I didn't have a studio like this, but I had a pretty good idea of where I was gonna set up and my idea about the sound. I got a job that it was like one of my first things. I sent out my demo and I got it for a TV station and I had to deliver the next day. This is the only mic I had, okay? I used it. It was great. It was fine. Turned out fine. They put it over a bed of music. So, any other sounds weren't too bad. And it worked okay. Just okay. Now, this, I also have a Sennheiser over here too. But that, again, I just want to tell you, if you're starting out right now, what I'd like you to do is kind of just get really comfortable with your voice. Know how to control your voice, know how to use your voice, know how to do all this stuff before it's amplified even. Okay, so the training is going to come first, right? But to be said, a lot of singers have that mic. And right now, maybe you're like, hey, you know what? I can't really go out and afford to buy a mic, or I can't, I just kind of want to get into this right now and see if I like it. Then set that up and start practicing. Okay, that is not, again, not to be for if you've got clients that you're delivering voiceover files to and you're farther along. Typically, I wouldn't recommend a dynamic mic. Again, I like all mics, but I'm saying for this specific thing. Now, the one that we usually use in studios is a condenser mic, okay? It's usually a large diaphragm condenser mic. I have two right here to show you. This one, I think I saw somebody on the side there say a Rode NT 1A. That's this one right here. And then I also have my Shure, which is a PG47, which they don't really have that much. Sorry, it's 42, but they don't really have that anymore. They don't really make this one anymore, I don't think. But it's a large diaphragm condenser mic. It has a cardioid pattern, which is what you're going to hear a lot. That basically means it's like a heart, okay? And you're talking into, it's a side address, so it would be this way, okay? And also know that there is a front and back to your microphone. There's a lot of people that don't know that. There's a front and back. Usually the front is where the emblem is, but you'll know it if you listen and you talk into the back or you talk into the front, you will know it. Now, what a condenser mic does, you're gonna want to soundproof, or at least know the idea of soundproofing, which I did go over in my other video about setting up your home studio. Okay, you want the idea of knowing how to get the best sound and to soundproof your space. So with that, it's going to pick up a lot more nuances. It's going to pick up higher frequencies. It's going to pick up a lot of things that we hire voiceover artists for. These little things in their voices that make them so different than other voices. Okay, so that is why like the dynamic mic isn't going to give you that. The condenser mic is going to give you that, but you do have to know how to use that microphone and how to use it responsibly and how to use it to where you actually like the sound that's coming out. So this microphone, this dynamic microphone, how do you know that it's dynamic? Okay, this takes a mic cord, right? Like this. Now, some of you already know this, but I'm just going to go over this anyway. Right? Like that, okay? And then that goes into a preamp, which is what I have here. I really like Focusrite, by the way. I will say that right now. Focusrite rocks. And it's the same thing with this. You're going to have a cord. You're going to have this XLR, and it's going to go into your preamp. Now, the preamp, that's going to go on a different video because that's just a whole other ball of wax. But I just want you to know that that's how that works, as opposed to the next mic. The next mic is a USB mic. Now, I got this USB mic, and this is another story to tell you how all mics, you know, have their purpose. I was in Florida visiting my father, who I love very much, and a voiceover thing came over. I thought I was clear. I thought I didn't have anything, but it came up. So I was like, okay, I got to do this, da, 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 da. I'm not sure who it was for. I had no mic. I had a pretty good, decent space to record it in. But I thought, you know, that I'm just going to buy this inexpensive USB mic, see if I can make this work and sound decent. Now, again, I'm very trained. So if you have the training, you can use a mic like this and it'll get you by. It's not what I would prefer, but it'll get you by. This is a Samson. I really like this. This was like, I want to say like 40 bucks, 35, 40 bucks. Would I use this for everything? No. But is this better than using, let's say, your Audition on your phone? Absolutely. Absolutely. It also has a thing here for different patterns, which is what I kind of went over with the cardioid pattern. And I really like this. It's just called the Go mic, right? Again, you need to kind of know, because you'll hear different your plosives, and you're going to hear a lot on this mic. You need to know kind of how to control your voice. However, this little mic clips right on. It could also go into your phone. There's a lot of things with this mic that I appreciate. Again, you don't want to use that in your voiceover career when you're building your studio, okay? Audition's great. It goes directly into your computer or any USB. Also, you know, the new iPad Pro, which is amazing, that's going to take something like this if you don't want to go to a whole other preamp. You can record through a USB mic. There are a lot of, all the big manufacturers make USB mics as well. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're just not to the quality of a large diaphragm condenser mic, in my opinion. Okay, so to get that quality, you really want to have a large diaphragm condenser mic. So I guess my takeaway from this is start with what you have and build your way up. What I did, I coach as well. So one of my students was asking, what do I get? And I found this great package deal, right? It had a decent mic. Now, prices, let's say, for mics, prices are going to range all over the place. But you know, in the 1 to like 300, you're kind of in the same, fishing in the same pond, if you will. Okay. Then it goes up slightly, maybe, right? And either I'm a big Shure girl, and I'm big. I like Rhodes as well. I like my Shure though, because I've kind of stayed on that Shure path. And I love Focusrite for preamp. I saw somebody else just asked another question with that. Started super excited. Okay, Focusrite. Yes, thank you. Somebody answered that question. Anyway, so I was totally losing my mind here. That's the price point that we're talking about. Now, when you're starting out, and let's say some of you are probably tuning in because you're wondering, how can I start right now? How can I work on this? Okay, find somebody to train you. And also use the mics that you have right now and start listening to your voice. Really start getting comfortable with it. I'll tell you, you got to hear yourself a lot. You're going to want a microphone and you're going to want a setup that you're going to enjoy hearing your own voice, and also your own voice in all these different ways. Hopefully, whoever you're training with teaches you all these different ways of using your voice for whatever the subject matter is. Okay, so then it goes up to, if you go to a studio and the bigger projects, you know, for example, that I've been lucky enough to do. First of all, never touch a mic. I've said this before, but I'm going to say that again. Never get into a studio and touch somebody's mic. Just don't do it. There's so many reasons why, but I'm just going to tell you, don't do it. It's not your job. However, those mics, let's say a Neumann U87, which is pretty much a standard in a lot of studios, are over $3,000, right? It's got a big, and then there's mics way more expensive than that as well. It's got a big range. So I think your next question is probably going to be, well, how do I decide what mic to do? Okay, I've got two things for you. One is after this, I'm making a video on getting more specific in the different mics and the different qualities of the mic. I'm going to put that on my YouTube channel, which is under Laurie Burke. And that way I can kind of dedicate time to specific qualities of each microphone. Okay, so you can watch that. But in the real world, and not in the pandemic that we're in right now, you would go to maybe even Guitar Center and have a shootout, which means that you have all the mics in front of you and you can listen with headphones and you could kind of see the different nuances in your voice, what you're looking for, if it's picking up a lot of plosives. For those of you who don't know what that is, this is why we have a pop shield, right? Pop filter here. It's the P's and the T's, and it picks up your breath as you're talking. I'm just trying to use layman's terms. So you're going to want to listen to all these different mics and see which one you really like, which one really, you know, mic's kind of an extension of you, right? I was kind of joking today with my brother on the phone. We were talking about mics and I was like, you know, you never forget your first mic, right? You never forget your first, like I still love the SM58 because I started on the SM58 singing, right? And then I went into voiceover and then I just built up my collection. And if something happens and something goes out, I'll use whatever mic I can. I've got a couple condensers, but just to get the job done. Okay, so since you can't go to the Guitar Center one and you can't really, you know, do that, I'd say my advice would be get a package, which would be a preamp and a microphone. Again, I'll go over that in another video, and use that mic. That mic's probably about the $100, $200 range. Get to know your voice. Use that mic as your training tool, okay? And listen to it. Use that mic as your training tool. Listen to it. Get to know, you know, how you want to deliver things. So decide on your read first before you get into the whole microphone thing, okay? And then when you get into this and you really want to do this and you love it and you become like a mic freak like me and a studio freak like me, then you can move up. And then when you get more jobs, they'll pay for, you know, that'll pay for your newer equipment, okay? So I hope that I you know, stress that enough. I also wanted to say too, people ask me a lot, how about the proximity of the mic? Okay, so I usually use the hang loose thing, right? Which is kind of like this. So I have this pop filter here. Pop filter is usually about an inch. People vary on that. Let's say to here, that might even be kind of far. I have about I actually measured this, about 7 inches. But let's say like this, right? I'm going right into it. That's a pretty good guideline, I think. Let's see, in the UK, that would be, I think, 15 to 30 centimeters, right? So we're saying about 6 to 8 inches, 15 to 30 centimeters in the UK. Now, the closer you get to your mic, the more bass, the more like a radio broadcaster. Now, a way that you can do that at home, just right now, watching me without a microphone or anything, start talking like this, right? Hello, I love baby bananas. Hello, I love baby bananas. You can hear it. You can hear that bass. You can hear what I'm talking about, okay? The farther you get, the more of the room you pick up, okay? The closer you get, the more of the bass you pick up, right? So that being said, you're also going to pick up if you have mouth noise or plosives or anything like that, okay? So hopefully that answers a lot of that. Let's take some questions so I can see how would you begin training for someone fresh on the horizon? Okay, as someone who's just been getting interested in this sort of thing, it seems quite intimidating. Nathan, I know it does seem intimidating, right? So hopefully this will help. Like I said, if you have no mic, you can still practice on your voiceover without a microphone. That should really come first. Get a trainer. I mean, I coach. You're happy to, write me, at my website and ask me questions, or hopefully, but find a coach. Find somebody that has done this and knows how to do it, that you feel comfortable with, that makes this somewhat fun as well, because it is a big undertaking. I always say, take an intro class. I used to teach intro classes all the time in San Francisco. And I'd say, half of you are going to decide this is something you want to do. And half of you are going to decide, not really for me, but maybe I want to use my voice better for public speaking. Maybe I want to use it more to read to my kids in funny voices. Maybe I want to explore this more. Maybe I want to study more. I'd say take an intro class and start doing that. Also, there's videos on YouTube, like I said, myself, other people that can actually tell you, okay, this is what it's all about. Okay. So don't be intimidated by the equipment. I've said this every single video. It just really irritates me when people put a lot of money in equipment before they even know what they're doing. I've said before, it's like buying a Lamborghini and not knowing how to drive. You know what I mean? Why would you do that? So don't be intimidated. Start using your voice. Start kind of figuring out what your niche is and how you want to use it. Okay. Could I use my voice recording app on my phone and my earbuds? Of course you could use that for practice. Could I use she wants to know if she could use it with her earbuds and her phone for practice. Yes. I think it's something that a lot of teachers don't really talk about. You should be constantly listening to your delivery and, dissecting a script and knowing what kind of read you want to do, what kind of emotion you want to convey, because those are the things that book. Okay. Those are the things that book. Again, you could have a most expensive microphone, most expensive equipment. It doesn't matter. If your read is not authentic and it's not delivering an emotion, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just not. And diversity in your voices, it's just not going to work. So let me see another's. I sometimes have an issue with hissing coming from my preamp, and I found the issue comes from the tubes having to warm up after being on for a while. Is there a good way to avoid this? I don't know what preamp you have, George. Maybe you can write me later and tell me what kind of preamp you have. Also, sometimes your preamps aren't working correctly with your software. So I don't know if you're on GarageBand, I don't know if you're on Pro Tools, Logic, whatever, but a lot of times, or if your computer, if your operating system is updated, I would look at that first, George, and see if there's something going on there. So yeah, sorry, without more information, I don't really know. Okay, would you recommend the Blue Yeti USB microphone? Again, I'm gonna do a whole new video on microphones on my YouTube, but I'd say right now, if you have a microphone, awesome. Use it, start listening, okay? So if you already have that, La Marie, then great, that's perfect. It's a USB, so in the beginning of this video, I said USBs I think are better for auditions and things like that. I personally really, really love the large condenser, large diaphragm condenser microphone for professional voiceover artists. I also think that auditions should sound as good as possible. So that being said, as I said from the beginning, start work from where you're at. Okay, so best advice technique for minimizing mouth noise. Oh, Stephanie, that is such a good topic. One thing I could just tell you is some people put a pencil here. And if you put a pencil here and you talk right now, Peter Piper picked a pep, you'll feel all the air. You'll feel what I'm talking about. I went over pop filters in another video. I think it's on my YouTube. But that's what pop filters are for. Another way is if you're off axis. Off axis means you're not directly in front of your microphone. Some voiceover artists are off axis. Some are directly on axis. People differ on their opinions on that. My advice to you would be move around and see if you still have that. I do have a little tip though for you. Drink a lot of water. It's a lot of spit in there. Drink a lot of water and take a bite of an apple. The green ones I think are better. There's something in the pectin that takes that down. So give that a try and hopefully that helped. Okay. What source would you recommend for obtaining voice acting jobs auditions? Tivoli. Oh, I love Tivoli Gardens. I don't know if that's what you're named after, but I love that. Anyway, Backstage is obviously has a lot of voiceover right now, especially, and it's growing. So of course I endorse Backstage. I think they're wonderful. I would also say, because this question came up before, how about the pay-to-play sites, which are the ones where you pay and then they send you auditions. If you're just starting out, use that as a training. Use that as a way that you can kind of get down. Hopefully you've trained already and you know how to deliver a good audition and send in an audition. And don't expect really to get booked by it, because most of those big jobs are probably going to agents that would then deliver to people that have this. And these days also with Source Connect, which is a way to connect with studios. But it's a great way to kind of hone your skills. So you're always honing your skills. I'm always learning something more. I've been doing this for how long? I'm always learning. There's always a different way. And sometimes oh, wow. And finding a different voice, right? And I'll go, wow, that's really cool. And that's what I work with my students on. Like, because most of us have been told, oh, you have a great delivery, great voice, right? But that's one voice. So right now, and especially if you're getting an animation and character voices, they're hiring people. Those people are doing, 4 or 5 different voices on a show sometimes. So you want to be as marketable as possible, and it's more fun. So there's that.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video and that you've learned a little bit more about the wonderful world of voiceover. I'd love to have you in my community, so please hit the subscribe button for more information. And also, if you're interested in becoming a successful virtual voiceover artist, please see the links below the video. Right now, I'm offering a boot camp for free. All you have to do is click on the link and sign up. Thanks, and have a great day.